Hello everyone, welcome back. So we're another week down, and this week's going to be a little bit different. The health hasn't been wonderful this week, to be honest, so I'm haven't got a lot achieved on FTR 3, but I'll show you what we have managed to get done, because you can see the car does look a little bit more complete than this time last week. And we'll also have a bit more of a look. I put a Facebook post up during the week of the prototype BA chassis. There's been a lot of questions coming about that car, and that car is quite often, there's a misconception that FTR 3 and the prototype car are the same. They're actually not. So we'll have a bit more of a look at the prototype, where it is today. It is a running and functioning car. And there's also a link to Marcus Ambrose and the BA Falcon, which is pretty cool. And obviously, you know, we've got the sister car in the workshop, so we'll cover all that off. It's quite an interesting bit of info, so we'll get into that. But first of all, we'll have a quick look where we've got to with FTR 3. So for the little bit that we have managed to achieve this week, it's been revolving around getting the panels back on the car and just finishing off the last of the messy fabrication work. So little things like you can see we've got a roof sitting back on the car, and if I open up this driver's side door, just tidying up the last of the fabrication as far as the roof line and all that goes. So if I can get the camera to focus, you'll see there's a dag of steel there from where the BA roof line used to sit. So that all needs to be cut out so the AU roof can sit on a bit lower. And then we've got to tidy up the roof and all the mounting points. So there's still a little way to go, but the next step from here is to obviously get the car blasted. Now, one thing that's really nice to see is when the roof's on the car, it does look a heck of a lot more complete, and it really does start to look a lot more familiar as far as what it did in the 2000s. That cage work is really nice, and once it's got the roof over its head, it really stands out. Now, as far as blasting the car, now a lot of you have commented about getting the car dipped and why we haven't gone down that path or why we haven't discussed that. But my personal view, and I'm happy to be corrected on this, there's a few horror stories that go around the traps where these race cars have been dipped, and later on in life they have an accident, and if you've got to do any repairs on them, and as an example, if you've got to cut any of this bar work out, there's been instances where the chemicals that they've used has leached inside the bar work and they actually rust from the inside out. There's been a few nicknames for cars over the years, and yeah, it's not an ideal situation to be in. So we're thinking certainly blasting is the best way forward. Whether it's soda blasting or sand blasting, a lot of you have suggested soda blast, so we're looking into that to see what our options are. But that'll be the next step once we get the last of the fabrication work tidied up. And then from there, the car will obviously be put on a rotisserie and it'll be painted inside and out and all go back to white as it was early in the 2000s. During the week, I put up a video on our Facebook page and YouTube of the BA Falcon prototype car that was launched at Bathurst in 2002. And there's been a little bit of confusion around what chassis it is. A few people have reached out thinking that it's this car. It's not. I can tell you exactly where it is and what's happened to it since that day, but which I'll go through in a sec. But a lot of people are thinking that this car was converted to a BA to be the prototype. That wasn't the case. The prototype was built from scratch. This car, FTR 3 that we're looking at now, was still actually running around as a AU V8 Supercar in the main game, racing against the BAs. As an example, it raced against BA1. So definitely not the same cars, but I can see how, you know, you would come to that conclusion given that the paint jobs were fairly similar. Now, the prototype car, now this is me not having a life and half this information is completely useless, but it's quite interesting. So it got built up and got released at Bathurst. It did some testing and bits and pieces like that. But after that, it was used as the launch car for FPR or FPV. We know BA2, which was Glenn Seton's car that we had a bit to do with a while ago, it didn't come online until Winton in 2003. And Craig Lowndes' car, which was the first BA that FPR built, it was only literally finished the day before the Grand Prix in Melbourne, did 5 laps of Phillip Island and then got dropped on the track. So they weren't in a position to do a big launch with their race cars. So that you can safely say is the prototype. Now, one thing that I stumbled across a little while ago, many of you would be aware that Craig Lowndes did an ad in 2004 for Ford, and his car was painted up in the Caterpillar colours, but it was a Brad Jones car that was re-liveried, and you can actually see the BJR logo on the front. They did a similar ad with Marcus Ambrose in the Pertec car, which you'll see here. And I always assumed that that ad was Stones bought the car down, or a BJR car again possibly, but it's a lot of work. I chased that ad down looking for, in case it was the genuine Stone Brothers Falcon, just to get some details from inside the car from when they shot the footage for BA1. And if you have a look at the cage on BA1 and the layout and everything, the paint's a lot darker. Everything just looks completely different. Now, the Craig Lowndes ad, if you look on the inside of that car, and the Marcus Ambrose ad, they're 2 different cars. And when you look at the window net and a few other things like that, I'm pretty confident that they used the BA prototype and they've stickered it up in the Pertec colours. So it has carried some pretty cool liveries over the time, that car, but from what I can see there, given the availability of chassis and all that kind of stuff, it looks like that the BA prototype did actually carry that iconic Pertec livery at one stage. Now, as far as where that car is today, it's up at the Motorsport TAFE up in Wodonga, I believe it is, and it was after its days were done as the prototype. It got stripped of a lot of parts and it was a rolling shell for quite some time. Now, some of the components out of the BA ended up in the FG prototype as they were piecing that together. So that's why the car was stripped. And from there on, it just sat around. And when Geelong closed down at Ford, it was donated to the TAFE and they pieced it all back together, all the TAFE students. Now, they used a lot of BJR componentry. So the car now is certainly not in the exact spec it was when it was a prototype. Obviously, it's got BF side skirts on it, BA front bar. It's got a little bit of a hybrid thing going, but it does live on today. It does actually still run. The car is active. A couple of the students have reached out and sent us photos and videos of the car running around, which is really cool. And it lives on. So it would be awesome to see the car back in that launch livery one day, but certainly it's doing good things for the TAFE, and the kids are, when I say kids, the students are learning a lot and becoming the next generation of supercar mechanics and race car mechanics. So it's cool to see that it still lives on. So where we'll leave tonight's episode is I'll put up now the full lap of Dick Johnson driving the BA prototype, 2002 Sunday morning at Bathurst. And really, when you look at it, it was a signal of the changing of the times for Ford. The AU era was coming to a close and the BA era was starting. And really, we know how it all played out. Stone Brothers got their hands on a couple of BAs, or built a couple of BAs, I should say. And the rest is history. So a really cool piece of Australian motoring history. And it's a chapter for Ford fans that was a good one after many years of pain. Hopefully next week things will return to normal and I'll have a bit more progress happening on the cars. And as I said earlier in the video, if you've got any feedback at all in regard to soda blasting or dipping, or how you think we should progress with FTR3, please let us know and we'll push on. So thanks again, everyone. Here's the full lap.
Partly due, of course, to the superiority of the Holden racing team. And here it is, the BA Falcon race car. First workshop or factory-built race car from Ford, and that's amazing.
And look what's coming out behind it. This is a reenactment of the fabulous Ford 1-2 finish at Bathurst in 1977. And driving those two cars, they are in fact the two original cars that achieved that momentous occasion, but they're being driven by none other than Alan Moffat and Colin Bond, the men who did that in 1977. What a magnificent moment for the fans on Mount Panorama.
I wonder if Colin's going to let Alan cross the start-finish line in front of him. But driving the BA Falcon race car, the man who's given the honour is, of course, Dick Johnson. And why not? And
sitting alongside him is Ford boss Jeff Pilates, and Jeff would be delighted. There he is, another angle.
He's a huge race fan, isn't he, Jeff?
He is a full-on petrol head, and I've got to say, Jeff Pilates is the man who has turned Ford around. He's come in like the Winston Churchill when Ford were down on their knees. He's been the man driving the BA program, and look at this.
That is a beautiful car.
Well, look, it's an historical moment. This is the first BA V8 Supercar built, but what's hugely significant about it, it's been built entirely in-house by the Ford Motor Company. Now, you've got to go back 30 years to the days of the GDHO Falcons to look at a time when the engineers who were designing the road cars were also designing the race cars. So this is an enormous change in philosophy for the Ford Motor Company to be so involved.
I remember talking to Jeff last year, Mark, about how they were getting behind the 00 Motorsport team. And that was really just the first step, wasn't it, in Jeff's initiation of this renewed energy from Ford to getting back the Australian Touring Car Championship, the V8 Supercar Championship from Holden's clutches.
Well, my biggest criticism of Ford Motor Company, particularly over the last couple of decades, has been that there hasn't been the blood, there hasn't been the blood or the passion in the blood, the petrol in the blood that you really need. And I think there's a real change of culture at Ford Motor Company now. They're living, they're breathing, they're understanding that the importance of linking a road car program to a performance car program built around motorsport. And all of a sudden, Ford Motor Company is back. And this is an indication of how seriously they're taking it.
Well, you talk about the old days, but it was very much win on Sunday, sell on Monday. I mean, the showroom connection was there because they were pretty much racing production cars. There was very little alteration to them. But in this day, of course, with purpose-built race cars, there's a slightly different tack to it. It's more about an image. It's still very strong, though, in terms of marketing. It has a big relationship with selling road cars.
Whoever wins today, Billy, the ramifications of that will be felt for a long time to come. Bathurst still has enormous marketing punch. It doesn't matter the fact that the car that they're racing out here you can't buy in the showroom. It's a brand image identification. It gives the company a winning image, a dynamic feeling, and it's a very, very important thing for these car companies. Mount Panorama always has been and always will be. Look at this reenactment here. You can go back 30 years, that magnificent last lap with Alan Moffat leading his teammate Colin Bond. Don't those cars look magnificent? It was quite an extraordinary event. They just went out, they dominated the Australian Touring Car Championship that year. When they came to Mount Panorama, Moffat's attitude was, okay, we're just going to blow the competition to pieces, and they did it. They just ran them into the ground, and by about the middle of the day, there was no competition left. They won by more than a lap and absolutely demolished the field. It's probably the greatest moment in Ford Motor Racing history at Bathurst.
Interesting link too, Mark, because I mean it depends on your own personal taste, but it goes back to then that there was the last time I thought that is the best looking Ford I've seen. So I mean, not saying they haven't had some good looking cars in between, but that was one of the best turned out cars you'll ever see, and this one is right up to that standard, I think.
Well, it actually looks pretty purposeful, doesn't it? I mean, there's been a lot of design work gone into this. It's been designed through the enormous computing power of Ford's Super Craze system in the US. This is actually the prototype, the first prototype built. They've taken some analysis of this car to build prototype 2, and that will form the basis of all the BA race cars.
A lot of aerodynamic work's gone into this, and that is where the AU Falcon has been a little bit of a problem.
That's Ford drivers down there having a look at what they're going to be driving next year.
They're queuing up. Who gets first crack?
Tell you what, there's plenty of interest down there too. Rusty?
Well, guys, I can tell you it's an absolute media scrum down here, and all the Ford drivers are on hand for it as well. Jeff Pilates getting out of the car now. We'll have a word to him very, very shortly. This is a living embodiment of Ford's commitment to motorsport. Jeff, your first impressions, what is the new BA Falcon like?
Oh, awesome. Bloody awesome.
How important is it for you that this car succeeds on the racetrack and in terms of the sales race against your competitors?
I'm happy with the sales race first, the racetrack as well. But no, it's just a great thing. It's the embodiment of 3 years of hard work from a lot of people, and we're really happy.
You're actually shaking. You're quite revved up about this, aren't you?
Yeah, it is. It's great. It's great.
You're looking forward to today's race?
Oh, well, it's a long race. Hopefully we can get there. We've got the guys. If the machinery stays whole and we have some luck, I think we can get there, yeah.
Jeff Pilates, to you and the team, congratulations. This is fabulous.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, Jeff Pilates quite rightly has said that I want you to judge my performance as Ford's CEO 6 months after the BA Falcon's gone on sale. He said to judge him any earlier than that in terms of rebuilding Ford's image and their product line would have been unfair.
They've got to break a 3-race winning streak for Holden, who have never actually managed to make it 4 in a row. So the omen is that Ford can in fact do it this weekend, but you just never know. We're back with Greg Russ now.
Well, guys, Julie Johnson just getting a pretty special photo. Dick, tell us your impressions of the BA.
Well, obviously, it's going to make a fantastic race car, just like the road car.
What's the process from here? Are there things that need to be ironed out? What were your initial impressions?
Well, this is very early days, but the car feels a lot better in the front than the previous car, which is the area we've been suffering with. And I tell you what, I just can't wait till next season.
You're smiling pretty widely there, mate. It's a wonderful moment for you too.
It certainly is, and it's great to be able to be the first one ever to drive one.
Wonderful feeling down here, guys. Great stuff.
Well, even the Holden fans would have to concede that's a great-looking car. Well, it's not so good-looking when Jeff's standing next to him, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind. It's beautifully turned out too.
It's funny looking at that bulge in the bonnet. That's something that's going to feature on the XR8 Falcon and the GT. And the Holden boys are already screaming, "You can't have a bulge in the bonnet like that. It gives you too much room under there for inlet trumpets." And they were saying, "Oh, no. It's only cosmetic. It's okay."
It's on again. It's on again. They'll give us something to talk about next season anyway. It's a big weekend for Ford. They're putting a massive effort into it, not just on the road, of course, but on the sideshow side of things as well.